I would say, though, this movie would be a massive red flag if you're coming to me saying that you like Jack Crow or you think he's a compelling character. My love of this movie is just the fact that he gets the crap kicked out of him multiple times.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
I'm Molly.
We're covering John Carpenter's Vampires, but this is a defense episode, much like Troll 2. And much like that, I also refuse to watch this one again.
Oh, damn it, Steph. I cannot be the only one who suffers.
Molly, clarification. I've seen this before multiple times.
I'll excuse it, but I need my emotional support chocolate.
Is that me? Are you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about me.
I'm changing my Zoom name to emotional support chocolate. Sorry, guys. Before we continue, I really have to say that I prefer Vampires Los Muertos because Diego Luna is in it.
And I don't think I've ever watched it.
Oh my God, Bon Jovi is the main guy instead of James Woods. I'm not saying it's good, but Diego Luna is in it.
Do you want to defend it?
No, I'm already defending Bride of Chucky. We'll get to that later.
Damn it, I have to watch Bride of Chucky again?
Oh, yeah!
If you want to.
We don't have to, because I haven't been watching these again. I'm just surviving.
I haven't watched it in like 15 years, so I'm going to have to watch it, I think.
I can actually get behind Bride of Chucky, honestly. It's not as bad as some of the other ones.
I'm looking forward to that. It's better than Troll 2. Stop it.
It is absolutely
funny as hell.
The lobotomy by wooden stake in this movie is better than Troll 2.
So let me get into my defense of this movie. So it's not because it's a good movie. Obviously, it's a bad movie. Okay?
Yes.
But Valak is one of the most compelling, vampire anti-heroes that I have seen built. And part of it is his backstory. I love this idea of a defecting priest that was forced into an exorcism that ends up causing this corrupting possession that creates the vampire virus. That is one of the most imaginative genesis of the vampire race that I've ever heard of. And of course, it's coming from John Carpenter. I feel like his lore building overall, Prince of Darkness, as corny as that movie was, the lore was cool.
It was cool, but it's also incredibly corny. But I will watch Prince of Darkness again. I will.
See, the reason I was so angry was because there was some really cool lore in this, and yet it was still not executed well. Instead of the lore making me happier, it actually made me more cross.
I understand. They could have explored it more. I do think, though, that Valak acts consistently with that. The one thing I do like is that instead of him being foiled by something stupid, he's foiled by the sun, which is literally what he is working to try to defend himself against. So again, there's this consistency with the storytelling. What pisses me off in a movie is when we have something come out of left field that makes no sense to the storytelling. So I feel like, as much as I'm going to get to my biggest defenses at the end, and I dropped that a little bit in the chat yesterday, so you know where I'm going with that. But I think that Valak is cool. I like his nails. There are times though. Okay, so yeah.
So she used to think he was way hot.
Yeah, I mean, in some frames you do. That's the thing about him. Is in some frames he looks really scary and kind of like King Goth Daddy, but in other frames he looks like a fucking dweeb. And I think that part of that is the way that they shot the movie.
I kind of thought at moments, because I agree that he sometimes did look quite intimidating and cool, and other times he looked like Loki and the Onceler had a baby.
Gross.
Yeah.
A
I mean,
Onceler, that's foul.
Tumblr would go feral over him.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Feral.
And maybe they did. Maybe they did.
I don't
They
know.
might
there
have.
was
They
Tumblr
might
back
have.
in like 1995 or whatever, whenever this movie came out.
Whatever was before 4chan. Was that what was before Tumblr?
Um,
4chan?
probably
I don't know my
LiveJournal.
internet
Do
history.
people really get on?
Live journal.
I would say LiveJournal was probably more where the fandom
Probably
communities
LiveJournal.
were. I just feel like Valak is a character that I've come back to like as a writer, like inspirational wise. He's like the salt air thing in Carnival of Souls. As much as the rest of that movie is dog shit, that setting was very compelling to me. Valak is the same way. Um, I also think that the scrappy priest character, for somebody who has shifting allegiances, was done in an incredibly consistent way with his morality, which is something that, again, after reading the Anne Rice books, and the way that they shift allegiances all the time with no fucking reason, it is very refreshing to me coming back to this and seeing this character that just acts with his morality, and he's like for the church and then he's against the church because the church is corrupt in helping the vampire. The church created the vampire. The church owes Valak an apology, frankly. Okay.
Yeah, bitches.
You know, and again, that is why I think that this is, and even the corrupt priest is compelling because he's had a crisis of faith and now he's like, I don't believe in God. I've got to find a way to be immortal. And so I'm going to help this crazy vampire guy. And he's corny, but he was corny and greasy as part of the church, and he's corny and greasy as Valak's henchman. And so
Damn it, Padre.
again, it's consistent. And I appreciate consistency in these movies.
You were making very good points, but then Steph said Padre, and I got angry again.
I'm getting to that. My strongest defense of this movie lies in the character work, but in the fact that I fucking hate Jack Crow and his Baldwin henchman. I fucking hate them both. I don't even remember the Baldwin's name. He's just a fucking Baldwin. They're both disgusting, misogynistic, homophobic pieces of shit. And the whole character, he's written like he thinks he's the coolest motherfucker ever. My favorite part of this movie is when they save him by pulling him behind a Jeep. I wish they would have fucking pulled his skin all the way off of him when they did that.
My
That's
favorite part was when she bit him because I was like, ha, you're gonna fucking die now.
My thing is that I don't think that it has anything at all to do with the way that it was written. I really think it has everything to do with him being James Woods. Honestly.
I did write that in here. I was like, this is the most James Wood coded character that I've ever seen because James Woods is a disgusting fucking hog who says shitty things all the time. And
yeah, he said the F slur. I did not appreciate that.
Nope.
So there's literally an episode of Family Guy, and James Woods voices himself every time he's on Family Guy, and he gets cast. I hate Brian. I think Brian is like the worst. I hate that stupid fucking dog, and I was pissed when they brought him back. He's such an asshole. Like, oh my god, make a talking dog and make him a dick. That's rude. But anyways, he makes a play, and then they cast James Wood, and he changes everything. So I firmly believe that's what happened. Oh, I'm not sorry.
He is just a piece of shit. The character's a piece of shit. I love Valak's hate boner for Jack Crow. I love that. I love when he gets like all angry and he's like gonna murder him because he already murdered his whole family or whatever with his vampire virus, which I just wish it would have ended differently. I wish it would have. I feel like the movie is painting Jack to be the hero. The hero is Valak. Valak was done wrong. Valak didn't ask to become a vampire. Valak was made a vampire. And then all he was doing was trying to get rid of this piece of shit vampire hunter that was a homophobic, sexist piece of shit. And I'm behind that. I'm Team Valak in this movie, 100%. I am rooting for him the whole time.
Sorry, do you need me to make you like a Team Edward, Team Jacob style shirt that says Team Valak? Because you're kind of selling me.
I would wear it. I would 100% wear it.
I did make her a shirt that says cheese slit, and we did wear them.
You wore them
So
to the Tillamook Creamery in Tillamook, Oregon.
It's the only time I wish I lived in the US because the way we would make the most unhinged t-shirts.
oh yeah,
yes.
and wear them. I'm gonna make you one, and I'll ship it.
I have something actually that made me really laugh in this movie because there was a bit where James Wood goes, "They don't all run around with Eurotrash accents wearing fancy outfits," and I went, "The main vampire, the first vampire, does that."
Yes. Yes, he's actually very like classical, and they're like he says they're not romantic, and I'm like,
He doesn't know anything.
no, he doesn't. He's a fucking idiot. Valak is also like one of them, that like archetype of like that romantic vampire that in some lights very like compelling, very attractive, very like can get to you, but also fucking ugly and terrifying in others. And the other movie where that does that really good is Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. He does a really good job in that too, because sometimes you're like, damn boy, and sometimes you're like, ew, what the fuck? So it's the same with Valak, and that's why
got the
yeah,
the hairline,
yeah, the hairline, or
all
like
the way back there,
and the like the exaggerated widow's peak. Oh yeah,
but when he's got that mustache and them little glasses.
yeah, yep.
Okay, sir.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
speaking of glasses, the priest at the end loses his glasses and can still see.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit. Yes.
That's bullshit. Because
Did
my
he put contact
primary
lenses in? But what's going on?
no, he's full of shit. Because my primary concern when living alone was if I lose my glasses, how am I gonna find them?
Yeah, I worry about that every day.
Me too. The other thing about that though is in these kind of movies, if you lose your glasses, we've got to assume you're possessed.
You're possessed. Prince of Darkness taught us that, so John Carpenter should know his own rules.
Right. It is John Carpenter's rules.
He didn't follow his own rules.
That's true.
No,
so that's a tick against this one. I would say though this movie would be a massive red flag if you're coming to me saying that you like Jack Crow or you think he's a compelling character. My love of this movie is just the fact that he gets the crap kicked out of him multiple times.
Valid. And also are you talking about how they become vampires in the first place? I can appreciate that. And because vampires have been done to death. And I was just thinking about this because I finally saw the long trailer for the new Dracula movie, which I'm actually hyped for.
Me too.
And I'm like, that's hard work to make Dracula exciting still. Like we were stoked for
Not stoked.
Voyage of the Demeter. Haha, see what I did there? The last Voyage of the Demeter, just to be like,
yeah. That one was awful. And it had such a good angle too, just because it was like a part of the story that had never been like focused on before.
Yeah. They could have done so many things.
And that's kind of like ultimately what this comes down to. I think that for me, I think it's my writer brain that latches onto this because I'm like,
You said that. Yeah, yes, it is. Because you said that also during Carnival of Souls.
Yes,
you have like this little list of examples that like itches your writer brain.
Mm-hmm. And I also like that the master vampires sleep underground and come up because that's also from Anne Rice's lore. Like Gabrielle sleeps underground when she's traveling and stuff.
Yes, but also, so you just triggered that for me. I was gonna say that when we were doing Satanic Hispanics because they jump in a dumpster and I'm like, get in the ground,
right?
Dig a hole,
yes.
get in a hole, bitch. Like you've been around for how many years? Dig a hole.
Dig a hole.
Bring a spade with you. Carry one. Just a little travel.
Literally? Yeah, but I mean, he had a Tide pen and a flip phone, but he didn't have a shovel?
What did he have a Tide pen for?
Blood
because he was
on
getting
his
blood on his
favorite
favorite shirt.
That's in What We Do in the Shadows as well.
Oh my god, I said it was What We Do in the Shadows.
So this is Spanish What We Do in the Shadows.
I also just like the way that the story is set up is it's vulnerable. Both sides have vulnerabilities and nothing comes out that's just like this doesn't make sense to the storytelling. They have this process to bring the vampires out into the light. and they're very vulnerable while they do that. They can be got while they're doing that. It's a dangerous job. The vampires aren't just like completely unkillable. They're very vulnerable to light, and that is part of the curse that came from that original exorcism, which I love that. The writer brain in me just loves that because the lore makes sense all the way back. There's nothing that pisses me off more than lore not making sense. And so for me,
like stupid exorcisms, because we've been popping off about that a lot.
That has been coming up consistently. Yeah.
Yeah. I love a good exorcism this time of year.
My problem with this, as I watched it back, though, is I think is probably what Molly was suffering, is how much I hated every time the Baldwin or Jack Crow was on screen. I was just...
I also didn't like the info dumps because there was a couple of info dumps.
Yeah.
I did find some parts of the lore good, and then it would go, but it would drop it in like info dump way, and I got a bit cross because I was going like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could
How
have...
long have you been making films, John Carpenter? Come on.
They could have integrated
the thing that I remember the most...
level! Sorry.
Like, it's okay. Without rewatching it, the thing that I remember the most is how bad they were to that girl. Her name Katrina?
Yeah.
They treated her like shit. Why
was
she naked?
She's suffering, bro. I mean, there was a lot of naked ladies in this movie, and I think that was to like detract from how, you know, shitty everything was.
Yeah, but none of the female characters had any agency, so...
No.
There was a woman in a leopard print dress who went from being in her underwear to being in the dress to being in her underwear to being in the dress every single shot.
Yep.
When they were going between Valak eating Katrina's thighs, which, by the way, what the fuck? It went between that and the scene in the sitting room with all of the women.
Yeah.
She changed every single time. And I was like, either she keeps getting very hot and very cold, or they did not keep track of that at all.
They probably didn't. The thing about that, the Katrina's thigh, is first of all, it was a very horny scene on purpose. And second of all, I think that that is actually kind of smart for a vampire. Like, why would you leave it on the neck where anyone can fucking see it? Bite them somewhere that's under their clothes, whether it's there,
once bitten,
under your titty, somewhere, you know?
Yeah, personally, I would choose under the
coming
titty.
Anywhere near biting my titty.
Literally just said that's where I would choose. I'm gonna choose under the titty.
I'm just gonna, you know, if I'm a vampire and I'm trying to hide the fact, especially because like a lot of vampires, there's like that kind of delirium.
Yeah, and also this is a virus.
Yeah,
this is a virus.
If you want to like give it some time to get it, especially because I think he wanted that leak to be able to, because he's just as connected as she is. So it was a strategic thing, but at the same time, I don't think they would have taken her with them if they didn't know that she was bitten. So maybe that was still half baked and I'm writing more into it than...
So sidebar, if I was any kind of vampire, I'm not drinking from dudes, I'm not turning dudes, I'm only turning ladies because I'm not going anywhere near a man thigh.
Oh god, no.
I'm not doing it. Do you know what happens to their balls? No.
I don't want to know.
Balls are gross.
Balls are gross.
I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna need a man to take a full shower before I go anywhere.
Right. Like I'm gonna make a meal out of you because I'm gonna pass away, but I'm gonna need you to shower from head to toe. Double cleanse. Use my stuff in the shower. Burn your underpants.
I still stand that no vampire is allowed near my titty because it gets sore when I take my bra off.
Oh yeah.
I am not in the mood for that. I'm not in the mood for a boob. It's like a sore boob.
You hear that, vampires? Stay away from Molly's boob.
Stay away from my boobs.
I got you.
Oh, no, I think my ass would actually be a good place. You know, if I'm thinking of the best.
Yeah, bite my ass. Go ahead.
It's just like
that's where... juicy.
Yeah,
or like right under the cheek.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, that would be maybe. I hang my ass out the bottom of my shorts sometimes, so I don't maybe want it there because that's the bottom.
Okay, that's
true.
But
like, you know, maybe on the round part, you know, where they give you a shot, you know, when you have to get a shot in the ass.
Oh, the top.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the shelf.
I'm not low rising anymore. I did that when I was in middle school. I'm not doing low rise
It's out of
pants ever
style.
again. So
This is
Give
pissing
me a
me off
vampire
because
tramp stamp. Just do it right there, the small
right
of
in the back.
Right in the back.
no. There's too many bones. I'm just like thinking about where a tattoo would not hurt, and that's where
Break
I
my
couldn't
spine.
get one because I have those little divots at the top or at the my lower back, like a little candy dishes. I can't put a tattoo there.
I think we went a bit off topic.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a
Yeah.
lot to talk about? It's a shitty movie,
No.
but like
I feel like now though I have to write an essay about Bride of Chucky.
I don't think you do, really. I just like this got me thinking when I watched it again, because I also honestly like when I rewatched it, it was just like rewatching Carnival of Souls, where I'm like, yikes, this is some white people shit. This isn't okay. Like a lot of this
There's
stuff.
some shit in that movie. I was mad. I was
Yeah.
mad at Carnival of Souls.
A lot of this stuff is stuff that like is normalized because of the community I grew up in the 90s. Like people were saying the F slur
Yeah.
like constantly and shit when I was growing up. And that's I encountered this movie for the first time probably like 10 years old, somewhere like really young. And so like maybe it didn't like sound the same way to me the first time I watched it as it does now, that now I just like cringe visibly like
Yeah.
whenever I'm listening to it.
I'm disappointed.
You know, yeah.
In you.
But at the same time, I feel like Jack is a shitty character. He's a bad guy.
He's definitely homophobic. He's a transphobe.
He does not wash his ass.
No, he doesn't.
He's what I'm
Absolutely
talking
doesn't
about.
wash his ass.
Burn your underpants. I'm
Yes.
telling you. The bald one either.
Oh God, no. That
and he
bald
probably
one,
goes commando. Burn his pants.
I could smell him through
Baldwin
the screen,
doesn't even wash his feet. He just lets the water run down them.
I'm sick, Molly. I'm sick. I'm ill. I'm gonna throw up later. What? No. Oh, but that's how they be. That's how they be.
You're welcome for the nightmares.
Oh my stomach is just.
As much shit as I talk about Dean Winchester's hygiene, I think these guys are both a lot worse. A lot fucking worse.
No, I know that Dean, maybe he wears the same underwear a couple days in a row, but I know he washes his butt crack.
He splashes some water in there from time to time.
Every other day.
These guys don't even turn their back to the shower head.
You could scrape a line in the dirt.
I think it's generous to say that they shower at all.
The shower?
They go their once a month shower, okay?
They just do a whore bath. They don't brush their teeth either.
It's one of those, put the toothpaste and just, I'm good to go. This just became James Woods like roast.
I mean, that's kind of what the movie is in my eyes, but that's because of the way I go in watching it. So I do think that it is not so much written that way, and that maybe he is intended to be a cool character, but for me, he is a massive piece of shit. And so
he is
I
intended
find it
to be
funny.
Cool. Yeah. But like, no, they're bad to women. I'm not. No. On top
they're
of
bad to everyone.
Nerds. Yeah, no thanks. Do you have a rating for this movie?
Me? I don't know. If I'm being honest, it's gonna have to be in the 2 range. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
I like aspects of it.
I was gonna say 2, maybe 2.5, but I'm just gonna split it down the middle and go 2.25.
It's very fair. Like, I love that even though I have this whole defense of this movie, and this is like one of my favorite movies from my childhood, really, because my mom watched this movie a ton. That's why I am so attached to it. I'm still like, no, it's a 2.
And that's fine, because one of my favorite movies growing up was Snakehead Terror on Sci-Fi, and I know that if I rewatched it now, it would be actual hot garbage, even though I don't remember anything about it. I know that for a fact. And also, Queen of the Damned, which
Yeah, I love Aaliyah in that movie so much.
me too. And that's the saving grace. But I also love Stuart Townsend. The casting there saves that movie because there are so many things about that movie that enrages me. Favorite
Yep.
though, like
Yeah.
I love that movie down. I love it, but it makes me so angry.
Same.
I usually have like some sort of angsty, mean thing to say, but I don't even have anything. I'm just exhausted.
I'm
I've
tired.
run out of emotional support chocolate.
I'm sorry I subjected you to this, Molly. Thank you for being such a good sport.
It's okay. I watch bad movies on my own time.
Say.
So I can't even be really mad about being told what movies to watch.
At least we
I
warn
mean,
you.
me and my friends would actually make it a sport. Like, we would find the worst horror movies and we would play bad horror movie bingo.
So, in the meantime, you can join us here for more bad movies that we like. You can find this podcast on the interweb at ghostofthemagazine.site. You can find it on Instagram at GITM Podcasts. You can find me on Instagram at Steph Spector.
You can find me at Nocturnical.
You can find me at nighttime_T.
Okay, bye.